Okay. So let me start with one of the most popular terminologies for business growth nowadays, called blue ocean strategy. We had discussed this briefly earlier, but if someone can explain this one, will be more exciting for all of us. Blue ocean strategy. Any idea what it is?
Analyzing the strategy in depth.
Okay. Another someone else?
So I guess with blue ocean strategy, consumers don't have to choose between value and affordability.
No, it is more from you as a CEO perspective. If you're a CEO, you need to devise a blue ocean strategy. Actually, the term was coined by a Harvard Business School professor, and there's he wrote an entire textbook on this term only. Essentially, what I tried to say is, look at what Tesla is doing. And of course, I have a fever about Tesla nowadays, so excuse me for that.
So value difference.
He is opening a market in many instances where there is no competition as well, right? Of course, in automobile industry, there was a lot of competition, traditional one, but then he brought some new idea, new technology. And now he is trying to transport people using rocket, right? And he is also developing lots of space technology to move people from Earth to Mars, right? Did you see something remarkably different? Do you see many people are going and challenging him in his field? No. Whatever crazy thing he's doing, he's just doing on his own and in his own world. No one is going to challenge him, at least for next 5-10 years. Yes, no? So apart from
because no one knows anything about it. Very few people know who can challenge him. So he is obviously way ahead of his time.
Exactly. On a micro level, yes, he is still dealing with us human. He is still serving the automobile industry market and trying to transport people. But his approach is something to say that, oh, Nidhish and Nihar and Pratik, I don't want to fight with you all. And, I just want to do something that you all are not even thinking of. So you can continue to fight in your own business and the industry. He's not trying to, enter into this something called competitive rivalry. He wants to stay immune to that. Okay. That is called blue ocean strategy, where you create and design your own market. You design and you jump into a market which is not even target of any competitors, and you can make your own 100% market there. There's no one else to compete. You'll be the 100% monopolist there, maybe, just by virtue of your business strategy, new skill, new product, new technology, and because you have created a new horizon for yourself. Then who is going to compete there? So that is blue ocean strategy. So why I'm talking about this in context of Ansoff Matrix is because this is a marvelous idea to develop a new market for yourself where there is no competition. But the life is not always that fancy. Not everyone has that much idea as Elon Musk. So traditionally, all the other mortals have to fight in a traditional way, right? If we were the CEO in one industry, we'll be fighting in a traditional way. And that's where the Ansoff Matrix is popular, because it looks at 4 generic growth strategy. Now you have gotten rid of Porter here. So there are more authors in strategy than Porter. So Ansoff suggested a generic growth strategy, which is called MP, market penetration, MD, market development, product development, and diversification. Of course, there are various other types of diversification as well: related, unrelated, conglomerate, non-conglomerate, horizontal and vertical. There are various terminologies of and types of diversification that we'll read about, learn about, but they are the 4 studies that he suggested initially. And how it was developed, what does that mean? So let's say we have existing product. So who that can be? Let's say Tata. Tata has their own series of car, and they are already in the existing market, which is India. But given the prominence of Indian economy and Tata's, etc., they want to expand it. Where they will go? Very likely, they might think that, oh, going into Japan could be a disaster. Same could be for France and Germany. And US is already very intense battlefield. Why not to explore other markets in Asia? Maybe Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, etc. Even if they develop some new market in the vicinity of Asia, it will open new horizons for them. So developing new market with your existing product, and who can do that? Someone who has good brand equity or visibility, already established in their home market, right? Because if I'm a loser in my home market, I cannot go abroad, right? Something people call this as a walk before you run. And capital, maybe experience, maybe partners in international market. We'll learn about so many different other concepts on the basis of Ansoff Matrix, because the diversification itself are of different types, and there's an entire big chapter on diversification here. But from Ansoff Matrix, there will be many other concepts coming out as well. Now, so are you good with the existing product? So wherever we are, it is in the existing market. We can continue to increase the sale in the existing market, penetrate more deeply into the existing market, means just continue to fight and grab more share in the existing industry, right? So market penetration. This is what Tata is doing in India. But when they want to go into Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, that will be a new market development based on their strength and opportunities. Now you can relate SWOT analysis here, right? And that's the practice we need to develop. When we talk about one model, we need to also develop or look at other models which can help. How can you develop new market? You can give reference to SWOT analysis. Based on your strength and weakness, you will ascertain what you are good at and find out your O, means your opportunity. So based on your strength, you'll find out your opportunity and you will look into new markets. Does that make sense? Then comes the
Yes.
new product. So if Tata has to develop a new product, what it could be? And your imagination can be just a new product for them, because this is how the products and portfolio new services are generated.
Cryptocurrency.
Yeah, could be. They have related strengths. Tata also has technological arms, right? TCS, one of the
Indeed,
top
yeah.
2-3 companies in the IT service provider. Actually, few months ago, it was named the #1 in the IT service provider. So they can, of course, use their strengths to go into crypto market. And why only currency? Maybe even blockchain. They can develop some BCT platform for the government of India for secure transactions, secure admin, secure security, digitization, everything. So develop new product, cryptocurrency, BCT, blockchain technology. So that is called product development. So who do you want to do that? I have already given the hint. Develop, if you develop the BCT, first likely market will be India, right? Because in India, we trust in Tata. Of course, you can take it with a pinch of salt. Definitely not everyone likes one single company, but generally the trend, right? So if Tata develops a BCT, it will approach government of India, and quite likely it will be adopted. Just like TCS is providing the passport services to the Ministry of External Affairs, etc. They provide a very good and efficient passport verification, approval, and delivery methodology to the government. Similarly, they can sell it to existing market, which is India. However, as Nihar said earlier, if the cryptocurrency is developed, it could be global. And it can go to any country. Wherever people find any excitement with the crypto, Tata can launch there, and that will be pure diversification. Why diversification? Another way to understand the importance of this, diversification when the new product meets the new market. Okay, new product meeting the new market is diversification. Now this can cause you some issue remembering, because right now when we are talking about this, it is easy to recall. Yeah, when this graph is in front of you, it is so easy. But how would you recall this 2 weeks later? Anyone? Have you got into the habit of memorizing such models efficiently?
Mind maps.
Yeah, some sort of mind map, some sort of acronyms, etc. we can use here as well. So let's try to just acronymize this. Just because if you get into this habit and imagine that you forget everything in the exam or there is any doubt, you'll be able to draw it up yourself. And many people think and spend a lot of time in exam hall trying to recall and visualize what was the model and which was falling in what quadrant, and can't recall it clearly. And it can take substantial amount of your time. When you are in a doubt is a very dangerous place in the exam. Once you fall into the doubt, it will not let you come out. And it will consume a lot of time. And remember, you have to do the analysis, recommendation, a lot of things are pending on this matrix. And you are stuck just on the matrix. So try to get into the habit that you can draw the entire matrix in few seconds quickly. So have product on one side and market on the other side, and try to keep the both existing at adjacent to each other, and then new will go to the farther points. Now, we said new product into new market is diversification, right? New product into existing market is new product development. So you can call it PD. Make sense? Product development. And what comes here?
Market penetration.
No. That was for
market development.
Yeah. Existing product into existing market is market penetration. Why I'm trying to have only 2 letters? Because then you can easily memorize this. MP, PD, D, and here market development, as you said. So I typically remember it's like MPPD, DMD. So this is how it goes clockwise. So whenever the new product is launched in a new market, it's diversification. But if you're launching a new product into existing market, is product development. And as we took the example of Tata, use whatever company you like and you have more clarity about, use one company or two company, but consistently always remember that what kind of response Tata would give in what situation. It will help you remember all these product development strategy better. So market penetration, when you have the product already, the market is already there and you're operating in that for 20 to 50 years, you just need to get more aggressive, which is just continue to penetrate deeper into the market and fight. That's where the rivalry will be the strategy, competitive rivalry from Porter 5 forces. But when you're developing new product, what did we talk about here? BCD technology or Indian government or maybe digitization, some latest platform that can be done. In fact, Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprises has just declared that they are about to announce Amazon-like platform where people can sell their goods and produce easily. Okay, so those kind of digital platforms are needed. So Tata can make into the existing market, that will be product development. And new product in a new market will be the diversification. And new product into new market diversification, existing penetration. And when the existing product is sold in the completely new market, then what you're doing, if you just apply a general approach, then it is called market development, because you already have the product. You're not developing a product. What you're developing is the market for your product. So that it becomes market development. Okay. That is all about this model. Now, in terms of risk, which one is the new new element throughout diversification, right? New product, new market. Do you need to remember that it will have highest risk? No, you know it now. Highest risk, because both sides you have new. Whereas market development and product development. Let's go here. Product development here, market development here. So when you have one new element and another existing, here new element and then this one is existing, right? So it's a balance of new and old, right? Market development and product development. So that will be moderate risk. Why? One new, one existing, isn't it? What is remaining? Market penetration. Existing product in existing market. Do you have any risk? Almost zero. See what it says? Little risk involved. This is how you can decode the concept. Next. Market penetration for companies like Tesco. What they will try to do? Increase its share of the grocery business at the expense of Sainsbury and Asda, or maybe even Lidl. Though Lidl is cost focused. Market development, moving into the convenience store market, because existing product is being launched into a new market. So existing product, but going into a new market, convenience store market. Or they can expand abroad, even in India. Why such a strategy can make sense? What are the strategic advantage of doing market development? And remember that even if we just learn this 8 to 10 strategy, but we can apply it quite well. maybe we are lucky to score enough, because it is the analytics which matters in SBL paper. And how do we present? We need to present like a senior business executive or a lawyer, so that the reader, the examiner can buy into your story, your idea. They can see the flow. It should be like a clean drinking water. They should not stop anywhere while reading your answer. It should be a natural flow. What will be the benefit of market development? Anyone?
So maybe because the existing market has already grown to its potential, and we are looking for new markets to expand and look for a new, where we can create demand.
First mover advantage.
Okay, so see, that kind of analytics we need to do, and we are now writing like a paper. So saturated market, I think Dipesh or Pratik said saturated market. The Nihar said first mover advantage. Yeah, both of these could be quite valid and relevant. The third, kind of a very, from a strategic perspective, why it could be very, very appealing, because just because you are saturated, right? Dipesh or Pratik, it doesn't mean that we will allow you in India. You might not be able to do the business in Italy. Market is small, not growing, and consumer demand is declining. But it doesn't mean that it will allow you. Will consume your product. Now, second, first mover advantage here. In that case, if someone try to come into India and we have all sort of companies and the varieties already, then may or may not be, it will be a first product of its kind. Then third option might work. For third reason might work. And what it could be is, see, you already have product in the existing market. Imagine you are in US, serving already US market or China. What will be your strength? Economy of scale? A, lower cost, because you are already at a bigger scale. You just have to operate at margin cost, right?
Sorry, so can I ask a quick question?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
just for my understanding, so can we take, say, am I right in saying, say, Amazon as a company is in the US, it already has a market, it has the economy of scale, it has all that. And then now they try to get into India, for example. So would that be the right way of thinking of it? So they already have it there, and now they're trying to sort of enter the Indian market.
Correct. That is the case, and that's why you see, we hear the news that when the Amazon or any such big, I mean Walmart and so on and forth enter into India, why it creates a lot of trouble for a small grocery store like us, right? If there is a grocery store in your neighborhood, like a small one, and even some big ones, they start to get finished. And the main reason is that when Amazon like company enters into India, they have big muscles, they have capital, and in many cases they are able to source the product more efficiently at a cheaper price, and even they have a logistic strength, because they have already a very strong product, logistic, entire value chain and value system, right? They don't have to develop, they don't have to learn anything, how to manage the process. They already have a very robust process in place. What they're doing, they are just launching their secret sauce in a new market. It's just like you are a very good doctor and have treated 1,000 patients in your village and cured all the eyes or ear problem. Now you want to sell the same medicine in the next village. So when Amazon, Walmart kind of company comes, the grocery stores and small scale enterprises start to get affected. Why? Why can't they reduce the price? Because traditionally what we think is that any company which is coming from abroad, their product will be more expensive, which is not the case. Even though the store is in the vicinity, often these big companies get more customers and clients because they know how to acquire logistic. They have capital, they have manpower, they have management. Everything is in place already. And they also have a scale, which reduces the cost. They are selling at global level.
So yes, so it's great for the customer.
Zero. Yeah,
great for the customer, but terrible for the small businesses.
Exactly.
Because they wouldn't. Yeah.
Precisely. So that is the story of market development. Dipesh and Pratik, anything from you? How about product development? This is like a typical case study anyway, like we have for the exams or in the textbook, but we need to understand from the live real world examples.
For product development, can we say moving to electric cars, like for companies like Hyundai? In India, they're saying that they would roll out electric cars next year. So can we say that's product development? Because the market is the same, but the product is slightly developed and different, right?
So which company is launching that? It depends on the company as well. A lot of context is important here.
Hyundai says that they will launch Creta, which will be electric in 2022. That's what
and Tata too. Tata.
Yeah, so that will be a product development because we have a new the existing market, but a new product. And when we say new product, that does not mean that entirely innovative product, the new product from that company. So existing market ready and new product from company. Because this Ansoff matrix is prepared from company's perspective. Then comes the diversification, everything new. So Tesco is all embracing the diversification would have to involve something entirely outside Tesco's current range of activities and sold in foreign market. What could be diversification for Tesco? Anyone? And remember, the diversification does not stop here. It could be a related diversification as well as unrelated diversification. So can you please give me an example? Maybe we are going a little beyond the scope of Ansoff matrix, but can you tell me a diversification from Tesco and example of related as well as non-related diversification?
So if you look at, I guess, non-related, Tesco getting into capital, so credit card market. So non-related diversification. And from related diversification, how does, so they are already in the food business, yeah? So now they are trying to enter a new market. In other words, another country. Would that be related diversification?
With the food market into a new country? No, that will not be, because for diversification we need to have both set of new product in a new country.
Right. So non-related, I think the credit card example fits, but for related, so I'm trying to think what would be a good example for a related one.
So is everyone fine with unrelated one? Why it is unrelated diversification? Unrelated means here that company does not have the business in that field earlier, right? That's the meaning of unrelated. Yet it has to be new product in a new market. So going into something like a credit card business, which is a kind of a financial or a banking market business, and that too, if you launch into, say, in a new country, then it is a pure diversification but unrelated. Then you go into a new country, Tesco entering into, say, Maldives, and launching a new product, of course, but that is related. What is the industry it is in? It is in the retail business, retail, grocery, clothing. So Tesco will try to specialize in office suit, okay, which it was not manufacturing earlier. So office suit, which is a related product, launching in Scotland, or sorry, in Maldives or in Mauritius. So that will be a diversification, which is a related one.
Could you repeat that? What was the unrelated one?
The unrelated one you already said, the credit card.
Sorry, the related one.
The related one, if Tesco launches a official the office or formal garments unit in country like, say, Maldives, where such brands are not widely available. So a new country.
So it's a new product for that market.
Yeah.
But it is still related for Tesco as a company because they've already done it in
clothing.
Other. Okay, understood. Yeah, makes sense.
Because diversification is quite risky. Yet going into related diversification will be diluting some of the risk. Market penetration, aim of the strategy is to maintain or increase share. So here we are studying the requirement, symptoms, strategy, goal of all the 4 strategies. So penetration, to maintain or increase share of the current market with current product. It is writing on all pages. All right. So aim of the strategy is to maintain or increase share of the current market with current products. So just to become more aggressive, trying to acquire more share from the competitors because the market is maybe growing, but they are not able to find a new product. Or to secure dominance of a growth market or restructure a mature market by driving out competition. There could be some takeover in the existing market. One can consider the hostile or non-hostile takeover. You can also consider the joint venture or acquisition. When you consider acquisition, it could be horizontal or vertical. Those kind of strategy will be required when you have no other option. You can't go anywhere else. You're not able to launch a new product, but then become more aggressive and try to acquire maybe even your suppliers or logistic service provider, or maybe the marketing agency itself, because with that, you will be able to control the market and the message. The marketing strategy will be your in-house company. Or best case, you can acquire your competitors. Of course, if there is a clearance from the anti-competition authorities. So market penetration involves an increase in sales, because if you acquire a competitor, then of course you acquire all their clients as well. So what happened recently in the financial services market, when one of my earlier employer acquired the business of another of my earlier employer, right? So SS&C, which was a fund administration company. They acquired the fund admin business of Citibank, because directly these two companies are not competing in the banking domain traditionally, but when it comes to the fund accounting and the various financial services business, SS&C and the Citibank were competitors. Later on, Citibank fund admin business was acquired by SS&C, which increased the SS&C market share tremendously. And from third or fourth largest, they become second largest in the fund admin business.
Sir,
Yes.
so is it ethical to acquire the competitors? Is it ethical?
Yeah, indeed. I mean, see, the purpose and intent is important. As such, this practice is not unethical or bad or anti-competitive. Say, for example, okay, we have a small, we have maybe a sweet manufacturing unit in the town, okay, in Mumbai or in Delhi, anywhere, and it has 5 to 10 different branches, right? And you have been running that for some time, 20 years. It has a very good market reputation in entire Delhi. And you are a sweet manufacturing company. Haldiram or Bikaner, they realize that you have a good market presence and good business, has been growing the business quite well, but somewhere you also need a bigger player and more strength. So they will give you a proposal to acquire you. You are the CEO. You have been traditionally managed with the entire family this business for last 50 years. But now, as Haldiram has proposed to acquire you, you sign the deal. What happens? From tomorrow, your business will continue as usual. Your same customers, same staff, maybe even you are running the same business, but there will be a big holding called a Haldiram entity. And then you can continue to do the same thing. Is there anything wrong? Is anyone being impacted adversely? No. So your objective, intent, and kind of goal is important. Acquisition itself of a competitor is not unethical. On the contrary, imagine there's a lot of news in the market for vaccine. There are 1 or 2 entities in India, the company who have developed vaccine for corona. What happens if Pfizer tomorrow decides to acquire these 2 entities as well, right? So far, everything is good. Maybe they will be able to convince people better, market it better, make it more safe, or maybe safer. But what if after the acquisition, 2 days later, you find out that the price of all the corona vaccine has been tripled? Because now you can't go anywhere else. You have to buy from Pfizer only. So it's all about the intent. Market penetration strategy. How is increased market penetration achieved? Generally, increased usage of existing customers. Just try to make customers more addicted to your products. Do you know why the toothpaste, right? It has a larger passage than required, and it is not by chance. Generally, when you use the toothpaste in the morning, you always find out that it dispenses more than you need. And the reason is, if you are going to use more than you need, immediately there is a more usage by the customer. So the companies try to increase the use of the customer in order to increase the market or the revenue as well. Attract customers away from the rivals, gain market share at the expense of rivals, and all those kind of traditional way of increasing the market share. Market penetration requires a realignment of the marketing mix. We discussed about the 4 P's earlier, right? Product, price, place, and promotion. And also STP. So these are called marketing mix. 4 P's and STP together are called marketing mix. What is STP? Segmentation,
Targeting,
and P for
Penetration.
positioning.
Sorry.
Why we do the segmentation, targeting, and positioning? Imagine I want to sell you course in how to sell toothpaste. Okay, no, bad example. I want to sell you a course on maybe IFRS. Okay, first I want to see what you are studying, what business you are, what is your past education, and maybe if possible what is your income group, what is your income bracket. Because more I know about you, I can understand your requirement better, right? What is that called? Segmentation. Trying to analyze you on the basis of your demography, your age, education, income group, social class, etc. That's called demography, and that is used to do the segmentation. Then targeting. Accordingly, I will sell you the courses. I will target the suitable courses to you. So that's target. And P for positioning. How the company needs to position its product and services based on so many different segments and the market requirements is P for positioning. And when we are doing STP, we need to consider the 4 P's: product, price, place, and promotions. That is called marketing mix. When you're writing the answer, you need to understand, use, and throw this term and explain why you are doing what you are doing. And use all these key terminologies of the business strategy so that you can convey your messages quite clearly. And examiner understand that you have gone through all those tools and technique and you are using it at right place. Market development, the next strategy, MD. When the product is already there, but you want to look for new market. So selling the same product to different people. And I think we have already discussed this. When the Tata is looking for the new target market or new market for its cars, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, etc., because they think that going to Germany and France will not make much sense. So looking for the new market. So these things we can skip. Market development is used when untapped markets are beckoning. The firm has excess capacity. Interesting. What China is accused of doing? It's called dumping. And there are various international laws on anti-dumping as well. So if you manufacture excessively, your fixed costs start to go down and can become zero, almost zero, right? And when the fixed cost becomes zero, you can start continue manufacturing on a marginal price, so long as your marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost, right? That's what economics has taught us. You can continue to sell when marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost. MR is equal to MC. Because when the fixed cost tends to become zero, this is a good formula. But how to achieve this fixed cost going to zero? How do you achieve this? For that, you have to achieve the economy of scale. And how to achieve that scale? Firm has to manufacture excessively and then find out the market. So one of the way, even many countries, many companies are accused of manufacturing excessively and reduce their fixed cost is by manufacturing and dumping their product in the foreign market. So, and then there are attractive channels to access new market. Again, in market development, we can use those strategy like going into joint venture, acquiring a foreign stockist or distributors, logistic suppliers. If you can do that, because going into a new market is not easy. It is called internationalization. Internationalization is not always possible. It requires a lot of capital, context, network, understanding of the market. Okay. So even if you have a capital, it is not easy to go abroad because you might not understand the market. What else? The culture, the requirement, legal limitations, how to overcome them. There must be some barriers that you might not be aware of. Again, 4 or 5 forces can come in picture. You need to then do the SWOT analysis here as well to understand your strengths and weaknesses. Then you will know the opportunities and the threats in the new market. So all these tools must be referred when we are judging market development as a tool. It is moderate risk. We have already agreed. This is the new development. This is the development of new products for the existing market. For product development, when we are targeting our own market, like we discussed earlier, the Tata's new car in Indian market, or maybe the Tata's cryptocurrency or the blockchain technology being offered to the Indian government to digitize things or making more secure transactions. So product improvement, the objective could be to improve the product, to make it more innovative, to even reduce the price or make it more attractive, smarter, or even product line extension. Like product line extension means if you had 3 variants of the same product, right? If you have a mobile of the 3 variants in the same series, or you had the laptop already in the market, but there were 3 series and you want to launch 4th and 5th, which has maybe more RAM or hard disk or maybe some other features. So that's called product line extension. Also, there is another phenomena when you have to launch or develop a new product. When sometimes what happens is that every product has a life cycle. It goes through the growth and maturity and start to decline. Many smart companies predict the declines of their product and services and continue to relaunch them. What they do, they augment the product. That's called product augmentation. So they will continue to relaunch the same product or make it better so that they never decline, because every product has a end of the life cycle. Many new products are coming in the market, more innovative ones. So the best way to remain in the market is to continue to improve so that the product market do not decline. Then comes the actually the same thing, product development. The firm can build an existing brand. Competitors have better products. In those cases, product development is required because your product could be the target of competitors. They might be trying to improve their product to ensure your product loses the market. In that case, you have to develop yourself. And this is again happening in financial services market as well. Nihar will have plenty of such examples, right? What we are observing in the investment banking sector.
Indeed, yes, agreed.
Like companies like State Street, like Northern Trust, they are taking on even much bigger, powerful, and resourced companies and investment banks head on in the custody and middle office operations and businesses. Citibank recently developed a couple of very robust middle office platforms. Then there are some firms specializing in the private equity developing extraordinary platforms. So what is happening? So a smaller company or the newer companies are developing superior products. So what will be done? Now, the traditional old big players have to respond and they have to innovate their products as well. So they will be doing the product developments as the response to the newer company who are trying to innovate faster. So that is product development.
I think a good example, Nidhish, would be BlackRock's Aladdin. So they basically designed Aladdin for the in-house just to help them. But I think the product itself was so good because BlackRock is now also has a technology portfolio. They then rolled it out to the market. So they started selling it to the market.
Indeed, and it had proved superior to many traditional investment banks, because BlackRock is not just an investment bank; they have a fund, but their Aladdin platform was superior to many investment banks' middle office platform, and it is becoming more
Yeah,
acceptable.
because there was nothing available. They knew that it was difficult. They built their own platform, as you say. It was so much superior, and then they decided to package it and sell it to the market because they clearly knew, being the biggest investment bank in the world, that there was nothing out there. So they made it initially for themselves, but then they packaged it and sold it.
Exactly. This is also a very smart product development strategy, because many times firms build a product internally for their own usage, and then they see the market potential and sell it outside as well. So yeah, great one. Aladdin and middle office relating to the investment bank. This is a great example to see how the product development works and why we need to have one. Then our favorite diversification comes here. Again, new product to new market and new product for new customers as well. Risky strategy, because new things needs to be developed. In case of diversification, one needs a lot of innovation, research and development, massive budget, and it can blow up as well completely. And finally, diversification can be subdivided into related and unrelated. We discussed this already. So safely we can move on. Related diversification, as the name suggests, it is not entirely different from the existing product lines. It is just the new one, but in the same market segment. Market and products share some commonality with existing products. Like Tesco has been selling the clothing, but not official and formal clothes, maybe in many markets. So there we can see Tesco launching those formal clothes, suits, official garments. So there are some commonality in that. Related diversification can also be seen as synergistic diversification, since it involves harnessing existing product market knowledge. Why synergistic? Because in this example, Tesco might already understand the market preference when it comes to clothing. What kind of color combination, what kind of cotton, what kind of price range people are looking for, what is in the fashion, what is in the vogue. Based on those strategic learning curve, they can go into a related product in the same segment and develop new product lines. And the other benefit is that in the one same showroom on the same floor, they can have entire range of the clothes, right? And that's why it could be very synergistic. Because suppose that someone came for office suit, right? One evening you walked into Tesco for the office suit, and you found some suit and the garment for kids as well under Tesco, or vice versa. Then it will further augment the sale and create a better brand presence in the mind of customer. So it provides some synergy as well when we do related diversification, because people don't have to look anywhere else. They can buy all the different kind of products and the range with the same seller. Product mix at PC World. It used to be the stock with PCs and accessory, and they diverge into the photographic products, continuing to iPods and similar electronic accessory, the products, finally into the flat screen and high definition TV. So you can see how they are evolving gradually from PC and accessory to a related product, which is digital photography and iPod, and then in a completely new entertainment and maybe the consumer electronics they are entering into. So there is an evolution in the product range of the PC world. all these products are linked in that they involve digital technology. So we can't say that they are going above and beyond their segment. They are still in the digital technology, but continuously diversifying in a related manner. So what are the other types of subtypes of, in fact, related diversification? Horizontal, vertical, and concentric diversification. So concentric is what we have discussed so far, mostly in terms of related diversification, that new product closely related to the current one are introduced into new market. So far, most of the examples that we have discussed is concentric diversification. And a literal meaning of concentric is, you know what the literal meaning of concentric is? Just a matter of interest. Like if you have two circles, right? There are two circles. It has the same center, right? So it has the same center. Both the circles are revolving around the same center. So concentric diversification, when the new products are launched, they still serve the same need, same center of the customer. Just the best way to remember this. They are still addressing the same need, demand, and want. This is a term used often in the marketing textbooks. They are still serving the same need, want, and demand of the customer. They are addressing the same issue. They are solving the same problem. They are just changing the scale. So that's why it is called concentric diversification. Diversification which has the same center. Anyway,
I think if we take a layered cake, that is a good way of remembering it. So concentric circles or concentric layers of a cake. So it's just like a bigger layers, but it's still you know, for the same
concentric,
the same customer.
One upon another circles are placed.
Indeed, yeah. So the scale is different. That's all.
Exactly. So same center. So concentric diversification. And then we have horizontal and vertical diversification. So let's imagine a picture. Let me just switch to a new page to show you this. So far we are talking about diversification, and this could be of two types, and all these theories are very, very, very important. It is definitely going to be tested in some of the test cases or the exam questions somewhere. So diversification can be of two types, horizontal and vertical. What can happen for horizontal? Who do we diversify with? When there's a diversification at horizontal level, what happens?
We're using current technologies, related technologies to be precise.
Okay, related technology, but it is not in the terms of technology. So first, when we say horizontal and vertical, let's look at this. We are trying to go into a new product or new segment. We want to have more products or more market, right?
Yes.
So like a notebook manufacturer that enters a pen market, for example.
Right. So what is the symptom here? You are trying to either take out the substitutes or peers. The horizontal means like someone who is equal to you, right? At the same level. And when some products are at the same level or serving the same market, is doing what? That is a substitute product for you, right? Like a notebook or iPad. Will that be right example?
Notebook and pens, because stationery.
Stationery, yeah.
So yeah, so you can have notebook, you can have pens, you know, or rubber, sharpener, whatever.
Yeah, digital pads. So all of these are kind of a substitute of each other, isn't it? They try to serve the same market segment, same customers, same need, want, and demand. Is that understandable? I want to make sure that with this concept is concrete.
Yes.
So horizontal means, or maybe another way to look at this is maybe LED bulb or tube light, right? They serve similar market. They are at the peer level, or they are actually even competitor, right? So when you try to acquire the competing product, substitute products who are serving the same market, it is a horizontal diversification. Vertical will be, don't worry, easy to understand. How? Let's go back to our Porter 5 forces. Best way to understand. Or maybe value chain. So
maybe launching another product line.
That will be horizontal. Because what we are doing here, we are targeting substitutes, right? When you are launching another product line, and again, diversification means here we are talking about related, right? So you are targeting your substitute products. So you are trying to manufacture your substitutes. So if you are a book manufacturer, maybe you are launching soft copy or audiobooks, etc. All these are horizontal, but the vertical one is easier. Supplier, logistics company, that's what they give, right? Supplier provide to logistic company, they provide to manufacturing company. Then it comes to maybe intermediary, wholesale, retail, or maybe online. Now you see the flow.
I think, Nidhish, can we say that Apple is a perfect example for vertical?
And who they have diversified with, and what they have diversified with.
So they have retail locations to sell the products as well as manufacturing facilities around the globe. So they have both sides.
Okay, so if they are doing retail, they are doing wholesale themselves, and then they are serving themselves an intermediary through the website, and then they are manufacturing.
So they're controlling, yeah. So they control its value or supply chain.
Yeah.
Company owns, its suppliers, distributors, retail locations. So basically, vertically from top to bottom.
Yeah. So these two guys, they have not acquired, or they have not gone into. Yes, they bully them, of course, supplier and logistic company. But yeah, they are handling manufacturing, intermediation, wholesale, retail, all of this. So they're in the vertical diversification. And another way to look at the vertical is like how they are controlling the entire life end to end. Like we call it food chain, right? So this is how we can see whether a diversification is vertical. If it is vertical, then you are trying to, in a way, imagine you are trying to control the entire market, isn't it? What Porter would have said in this case? What are 5 forces quite related to this? Buyer, supplier, rivalry.
Correct. Yes.
So you're some way trying to make the entire industry under your influence when you're doing the vertical diversification. You're trying to control the entire industry because your buyer, supplier, the new entrants, everything will be impacted once you have started to go through this chain of controlling the entire.
Can I just add one more example, Nidhish?
Yeah, please. Yeah.
So the latest one again, Netflix, for example, it makes its own shows, you know, and it also has in the entertainment industry. So basically, it also has its own TV shows, but it also reaches out to the. It has its own platform to distribute movies and TV shows. Again, if you want to look at food industry, you have McDonald's. It has all the retail outlets. It has its own manufacturing. So everything from top to bottom, it controls. Same with Apple. So there's many vertical big organizations. They have a lot of this power, so they can vertically integrate.
Exactly. It gives them the control as well, control on the process and control on the market and the customer demand as well. So that's it with the vertical and horizontal. We are already done with the. We are already done with the.
So just to clear up, horizontal means we are entering a new line of product, but it is related to our current product. Whereas vertical, we are talking more about the supply chain. We are talking about acquiring, the retail, wholesale, controlling the retail, wholesale, as well as the suppliers and all that. So it can take two forms, right? It can go forward and backward, right? For vertical.
Absolutely. And that's why it is also called forward and backward related diversifications.
Okay, so suppose if this was there in an exam situation, we have to identify, like if it's a horizontal diversification, how would we explain it? Like you said, one is acquiring the competitive products.
Competitor or your substitute products.
Or can we just manufacture a related product? Like you gave an example of LED bulb, as well as what do you say, tube light. So if we start producing tube light, is that a horizontal diversification?
It is, because maybe the best way, the trick is to understand, first ask, is it a vertical diversification? Because if it was a vertical diversification, first, it will allow you to see whether it is a logistic company or is a supplier to you or not. If you see that it is not a supplier to you, right? If you're manufacturing LED and you are trying to take over a tube light company, the first question would be, is that a supplier or is it a logistic provider? No. Is this something to do intermediation? Is this going to connect you to the customer? No. Then quite likely it is a horizontal one. And then you can see what kind of product it is. And you can be almost sure that, oh, it is a substitute or it is a competitive product because it is serving the same purpose as you do. Hence, you can be sure that it is a horizontal now.
All right, got it.
Fabulous. So far, only related diversification. Now, unrelated one. As the name suggests, unrelated means you are just opportunistic or you have maybe too much cash. So there is a market potential, market gap there. And you have cash, you have business network, maybe understanding, and you want to make most of the market opportunity, market gap. So it is not necessary that the market gap will be always related to your industry, right? Just because you have cash, you want to go into more business. It is not necessary that the opportunity that you see in the market is only a related one. It could be completely unrelated. In that case, it is called conglomerate diversification. Why conglomerate? Because any company which has unrelated products in the portfolio, they are called conglomerate. Tata is one of the example of Indian conglomerate. Why? Tata Group as such is a conglomerate because it is in the steel, it is in power, it is in software, in the finance, some of the financial activities. It is into the weapon, it is into the car and automobiles, in the truck, right? Are they related?
Sir, food too.
Food too, yeah.
No, sir, they are not related.
Exactly. Doesn't it seem like that some, or even steel, that's a motor that someone has just randomly invested into so many different companies? It's like an investor investing into a market portfolio, right? If you are trading into a stock market, what do you typically do? You make some investment into airlines, some in the steel, and then automobile, right? Then some in software and go into banking. It's like a completely diversified portfolio. It's like an investor making the investment into the stock market. That's what Tata has done as the businessman. Completely diversified portfolio in the companies.
So
Such
basically,
companies are called conglomerate.
sorry to interrupt. So basically, the idea behind what we say unrelated diversification is building the portfolio and diversifying the risk of the company, right?
Well, yes and no. It's hard to say because there are massive number of theories in the criticism of the conglomeration as well. One theory says that why, see, you are a businessman, right? It's not your job to give me the diversification. Your job is to go into your specialization, right? That's what any investor expect from a CEO. If
Yes.
I'm an investor and you are a CEO of, suppose, Tata Consultancy Services, I don't like you going into steel and then maybe in the mining or on the Mars and everywhere. Because if I want to diversify in that way, I can buy the shares of the other companies. Why would I want to invest into a company which is diversifying on behalf of me? Because you are supposed to have one specialization and expertise, and you can do well in that. So conglomeration, to the investor, it does not give any benefit. Most of the research suggests that it does not accrue any benefit to the investor, because why investor will worry about this? They can diversify in 100 different companies. But then some research suggests that it gives the diversification benefit to the entire group of the company, because maybe you have some sort of benefit and the synergy, but it is never established. Then what kind of synergy? If it is unrelated, how can you get a synergy? Right? Because if it was a synergy, then it will be called related, right? Related one, when you have a supplier, you have a logistic provider, you have a intermediary. If you are able to get the synergy from maybe forward or backward diversification, then it is a related. It's not a conglomerate, isn't it? If it is a conglomerate, that means there's no relation. If there's no relation, then what kind of synergy you're talking about? Do you see what I mean?
Sir, can you just define synergy, like in brief? Like, what do you mean by synergy?
Synergy is when, imagine, you have an airlines company. Imagine Reliance starting an airlines company, okay? So whenever the stock or oil price become too high, what Reliance is likely to do? They will say to their refinery company that sell at a relatively cheaper price to the airlines company because it needs to survive. Or Reliance also has online portal like yatra.com, it has taken over. So what they will do, they will try to sell their tickets and the airlines through Yatra in a more competitive manner. They will try to prioritize the tickets of Yatra, right? So they're all different company, but synergy is when you add 2-3 company and it will create more value. So synergy is when the total of the multiple items or the total of the multiple components is bigger than all of them separately. Like 1 + 1 + 1 is not 3, it could be 111. because they help and benefit each other. So you have suppose that Reliance takes over Yatra, Reliance has the airlines, and Reliance has a refinery. Refinery will help airlines industry to survive, which it will not help otherwise. And then Yatra as a online portal would help airlines industry as well to sell its ticket in a more competitive manner. So there is a synergy. All are helping each other. But in case of conglomeration, there is no link between the product and services amongst them. Then how one can help the other company? What kind of synergy can come? There's no real opportunity for synergy.
Yeah, true.
It's like a randomly invested. And that's when it is called conglomerate. Mostly it is done, and of course, you analyze the Tata group, you'll never see any synergy that, okay, if the Tata still is doing very well, then Tata Motor will also do well and TCS will do well as well. They are completely uncorrelated in terms of performance and market opportunities. So that's the nature of conglomerate diversification. At global scale, you will also find out GE, General Electric, having such tendency as well. Anyway, so
these will come under the disadvantages of unrelated diversification. No synergies, no benefit to shareholders, and lack of management focus as well, because they'll be focusing on too many things.
Exactly. And what we have just discussed, it is also here in the bullet point: no commonality with existing products and markets. Development beyond the present industry into product and market, which bear little relation to the present product market mix. Exactly what we discussed. That's the literature also suggests.
Perfect.
So Ansoff Matrix is the framework to explore directions for strategic growth. Most commonly used model for analyzing the possible strategic direction. Of course, this is to understand whether you should launch a new product, or you should go into the new market, or launch a new product into new market. So whenever you feel that market growth is not there, what to do? Whether to launch a product or get into a new market or in different company. This matrix is used to find out the strategic direction for the business or future course of action, how to grow revenue and market, how to even survive. For that, Ansoff Matrix is used.
So can I ask a out-of-topic question? Can we apply Bcg Matrix and Ansoff Matrix together? Because Bcg talks about growth and Ansoff provides alternatives. So are they used together or are they different? Can you just clear that out?
We can apply Ansoff, Bcg, Porter 5 forces and SWOT even in one single instance, in one case study. We just given the topic or and the scenario should be good enough, but yeah, all four can be applied together. And we have already been often talking about this, right? SWOT you can apply almost anywhere. Porter 5 forces, we have been talking about that, right? Ansoff Matrix, let me give you some example how you can apply Ansoff Matrix and Bcg. So you have a question mark, right, in the Bcg matrix. The question mark is the one which is not rapidly growing, and you expect the cash cow to give enough cash and the resources to the question mark to grow and become either a cash cow or a star, because you don't want the question mark to become a dog, because dog is what? A low performing, low growth company in a low growth market. Yeah. So it has no future. Now, because you want the question mark to become a star, very likely, then what should be done? Question mark is where the industry is growing fast, but the company is, or that particular department is growing very slowly. So how to kind of accelerate the growth? That is a question.
We need funds and investment acquisition to increase our potential and productivity to upscale the market, because there is potential, but we don't have the capability, right?
Oh, but let's stop there. When it comes to, you said capital, you said resource, etc., right? And capability. All that the cash cow is ready to give to you. The cash cow which is sitting there, and who is cash cow? Just let's revise quickly. Cash cow is the one which is the big market share in a low growth industry, right? If you recall,
Yeah.
it has a big market share, but market growth is not happening. So now you know that you are not going to sustain forever in this market because it is not growing. It already has gotten into a big share. So you are generating a lot of cash. You are sitting on the cash because of this company with this particular portfolio, but it does not have future 10 years ahead. And can you tell me one example of this in the real life?
Of cash cow or of question mark?
A cash cow. Let me make it simple for you, but try to watch out for such news. Look at what Mr. Mukesh Ambani has done recently. He went short into oil market. Did you notice? He reduced his stake in the refinery business and he sold it to a company in UAE. What is this?
Okay.
Going short means he's trying to reduce his stake. That means he's thinking that, oh, it is giving good cash, but it does not have the great future. And you know why?
Because of renewable energy, right?
Yeah, 10-15 years later, oil is going to vanish. Then having a big stake in the oil refinery, is that a smart idea? But
Not
it's a good,
now.
yeah, it is good cash cow. So what will you do in that case? You just want to generate a lot of cash and invest into something that you see the potential for next 100 years.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now you see it is in practice how people use a cash cow to grow the question mark into a star.
So
What is
basically,
question mark?
it's a cycle, a triangle, you can say.
Yeah, it is a cyclical as well. Now you see another perspective which is coming out here. Now you have started to see the BCG matrix as a cycle, because every, just like a saas mein kabhi bahut hi, right? Every question mark before becoming a dog can turn into a star first, and then a star maybe 5, 10 years, 20 years later will become a cash cow. And what is the responsibility of that cash cow? To support another question mark to become a star rather than becoming a dog. And that cycle has to continue. Now you can show this in a cyclical manner as well, a new perspective for BCG. And that's what examiners will be looking for, a new insight, an analytical perspective for any case study. So back to, so what Mr. Amani is trying to do is going short, generating cash from the refinery business and putting into the question mark. What is question mark? Data business.
Yeah, high growth but low share.
High growth, exactly. Geo, data, a lot of competition, but has immense potential. So putting a lot of money into this and attracting a lot of money as well. And everyone has realized that it is a question mark which can turn into a star. So even the international investors are, private equities are throwing money into Geo. Now you see, everyone is seeing that as a question mark which can turn into a star. So that's what is happening here.
Okay, so how do we link Ansoff Matrix to any of these examples? Like suppose we're investing cash on question mark.
Okay, so
yeah.
let me even give more clue to link Ansoff and the question mark and BCG. So what Ansoff is saying is, how can you grow your market, isn't it? How can you increase your market share or overall product portfolio and business, right? Ansoff is all about increasing your revenue, market share, and the business, right? 3 things in a simple manner.
Yeah.
Now, if that helps you to do that, your objective should be to support question mark and use the Ansoff matrix to see what is the situation of the question mark, because question mark is a question because of maybe it is in a maybe what do you call existing market but does not have a new product, maybe if you give a new product to the existing market, it can grow faster. So the question mark can get the support if you help it launch a new product into existing market. Or maybe if question mark try to diversify into new market, it can get more revenue, because new product into new market means diversification. So maybe cash cow need to give resource, capital, and network support to the question mark in order to develop new product and diversify, right? Or it can also help the question mark to do the product development. What is the product development? Means new product into existing market. So maybe question mark does not want to go out, so it can develop a new innovative product into the existing market. Okay, so
yeah,
if you want to visually see how it can look, what it can look like, new share, it should look like this. I'll not put all the legend. I hope you get it anyway. So this is a dog, and here is a cash cow. Cash cow wants the star, sorry, question mark, to become star. And let me have Ansoff Matrix as well here. What was there? Product, market, existing, new, and new. Okay, so diversification comes here. And what is this? Product development.
So I think you're going to change star and question mark. Star would come above cash cow, right? Because
it depends where we put the legends.
Could you just mark it so that's clear?
Okay. Yeah, I see this confusion often happening, but it depending on where you put the legend, it can change the position. So anyway, so cash cow support the question mark and try to make it this rather than becoming like this. So this is how you show. Okay, what do you want?
Legend, like which is the growth side and which is
okay. Yeah. So what is the cash cow?
High growth, low growth, high share. So low the y-axis,
growth. Okay, low growth, high growth. So this is growth vertical.
Low, high share. So star would come instead of question mark here. Just
star will be in this area. So let me make this a star. How the L H.
Yes, and now it's correct.
Now that should be high
share.
And dog should be low. This is star. Then let me make a question mark. Okay, so that needs to be so cash cow need to support the question mark. That needs to turn into a star rather than becoming a dog. That should be our approach. So we need to get rid of this one. That's another topic. But the question mark needs to become a star. How do we make it a star? So for that only, this part, when you are given a task to make it a star, then you can launch this entire Ansoff matrix here. Then you can suggest that, okay, based on, so what is this? Market. And this is product. This is, let me make it clearer.
So basically, we'll use Ansoff Matrix from a question mark perspective, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the cash cow is already there. It does not need our help. Dog is a dog. Maybe unless given a task, we don't have to do much. We can't do much about this. It is a low performer in a low growth market anyway. The only doubt is on the question mark. Question mark needs to become a star. And that's where we need to think how we can help the question mark. So market one side, product on another side. So new market, existing product, new product. So what do we have here? Market penetration, product development, diversification, and here comes market development, MD.
Oh, so okay, I got the logic. So basically, we can control market share. So that's why it makes sense to use question mark. Whereas the growth is not in our hands, that we can analyze through what we say, external tools such as SWOT and all that. So Ansoff Matrix is only used when we're looking at growth, right?
When we need to
acquiring shares, sorry.
Exactly. When we need to look at the growth or revenue maximization or internationalization. So of course, in this context, we can just say that when we have to make a growth, we can look into this from the BCG perspective. But the question can come saying that, okay, you need to internationalize or you need to grow the business. What should be that strategy? So you need to draw this and then analyze. It is not going to just end here. You need to analyze that, okay, your company might not have enough resource and technology and the people, right? So there we have to focus whether we can pursue MP or MD or PD or D. This one is the most risky one, right? Unless you have a lot of resource and the risk appetite, you cannot pursue diversification. Well, once you pursue diversification, then related and unrelated, all these things will come in picture. And within the related, we know there are 2-3 different types. What are them? And what are they? Related ones? Vertical, horizontal, and concentrics. Concentric. Unrelated, conglomerate. So based on the case study, we can adopt what needs to be done. But before we jump into diversification, with so much of excitement, often we start talking about diversification and we suggest that the company should pursue the diversification strategy for blah, 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 blah reasons. But imagine that the question has already said that company is under pressure, right? From shareholder to generate return. Otherwise, there will be bloodshed in the stock market by the investors. They will start selling the shares. So you need to be very careful about pursuing diversification strategy. What could be the safest in those cases? That's what we need to choose. Okay.
Market penetration is the safest.
Yeah, market penetration is the safest. But when the performance also is expected from the company, right? This might not give you the performance too, isn't it? Risk and reward comes together. That's another thing that we need to bear in mind. A risk and reward.
How about related diversification?
Related diversification could be potential strategy. I agree. Because though this is high in risk, but related diversification is still lower amongst the diversification strategies, right? So that can be chosen. Or you can choose PD versus MD based on the already given strengths and weaknesses of the company. So now you see, when you're deciding between the options here, it's like 4 options. Which model again will come in picture? SWOT. SWOT analysis. Okay. But while you're doing all this, don't forget strategic clock. that day we discussed. That also tells us where the company is and how it decides. It looks at the value and what are the two things it looks at? Value and price.
Differentiation.
Yeah. So how much price it is charging for how much differentiation, how much value it gives. That should also be considered together with Ansoff Matrix. And when you will use Ansoff Matrix and strategic clock together and then finally make a chart using SWOT analysis, that what you have inferred about the company's strengths and weaknesses. Because this graph and strategic clock together will tell you very clearly what are the strengths and weaknesses of the company and what is the strength and opportunity. Do you see why the strength and opportunity can be very clearly understood using the strategic clock? Because if you are already charging too much, you remember the strategic clock had like 6 positions. No, sorry, 7 position.
Yes, sir.
We talked about that you are at a high risk because you are charging too much with a low value. So the strategic clock will give you a lot of idea about the SWOT, opportunity and threats. Whereas strength and weakness can be analyzed using the internal resource and the points in the case study. Then you can use Ansoff Matrix to find out what are the market opportunities, okay, and generate more and more points. Of course, we can't forget when we are looking into the see, we are talking about the market opportunity here, right? In Ansoff Matrix. Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
And I'm purposefully repeating that we are talking about the market opportunities. When we are talking about the market opportunity, the pestle will also come in picture. Because how? You might be given an idea, the case study scenario saying that not Tata, then maybe Taja is a conglomerate company which is sitting on the cash of 200,000, maybe 200 crore rupees. Okay. And because of the government regulations, there is a scope for technological app and the new Facebook-like website to be developed. Tata Consultancy Services is considering to develop that website, but considering whether it will be able to compete with already existing rivals. This kind of scenario can be given to you. Now, it is a perfect overlap between the pestle as well as the Ansoff Matrix. Do you see how? What Ansoff is talking about? New market, new product, existing market, existing product. What pestle is talking about? Pestle is also giving you all the clues about the external market. So we need to just see how we can overlap so many different models together and use it.
Sorry, sir, can you just repeat the example for pestle? I just think I missed out. And then
okay. Okay, so let me just delete this part.
It's okay, no need to go details, just a small gist of the example give.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, what I'm trying to say, what I'm saying is that maybe government announced, right, that global social media need server in India. Okay. What it is from pestle? It is a P.
Yeah, political.
Yeah. Now this part, and there could be 5 different scenarios in given, such facts and data given in this case study. Now, based on the pestle and different forces, we can find out how these forces can help or disadvantage our company called Taja, maybe. Because Taja has $200 million cash unused. It has a strong IT team. Third, its ROI is declining. Okay, its ROI is declining. Now you can clearly understand that there is a pressure from shareholders. What Taja CEO is supposed to do? They need to find out a new market, new revenue source, isn't it? New market, new product. How we can do that? We have been given all the pestle related information. Now we can choose this information and put that in the context of this Ansoff Matrix. Ansoff Matrix will tell us whether the new product can be launched in a new market or existing product in the existing market, and how Ansoff can guide Taja company what to do using the pestle data given already. So in this way, we can also merge pestle and Ansoff together to find out the new strategic direction for the company like Taja.
So pestle will only be required for product development and market development, right? Or also to be used for diversification?
Pestle is something can be used in anything. I can use pestle for SWOT. I can use pestle for a strategic clock.
Actually, what I mean is, like, do we do an external analysis for, all of them, or just for market, in the case when we are looking for market development or product development, or all 4 cases we can go for external analysis if needed?
Can you repeat the question? For all 4 cases means, like, see.
I mean, there are 4 situations, right? We can either grow in the existing market penetration, or we can enter a new market, or we can go product development.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
For all 4, you need pestle, because pestle is kind of a your glass, your telescope. Whether you want to do MP or PD or diversification, you need to have full control on pestle. Because I'll tell you, you want to diversify, I want to go into a new market internationally, right? With a new product. And in terms of the new market, there is a political fight globally. All the companies are fighting with each other in the World Trade Organizations, and they are trying to restrict other companies from entering into their market, right? Now, you want to go into maybe Mauritius, and their government is not welcoming. Would you be able to diversify? No. Now, let's look at the new things. The next strategy that you can pursue is Ansoff. And now you have to go through each of the product and argue that which strategy is the best. Now you're getting it. Based on Ansoff, you need to decide whether MP, which is market penetration, or PD, product development, or MD, or amongst the 4 strategy, which one is the most suitable. It is your job to decide based on the pestle analysis. Pestle has already discarded diversification. Based on pestle, you cannot go for diversification because globally there is a lot of fight on the line of the trades. Countries don't want other countries' companies to enter, right? Diversification is gone. Product development. All right, so can I develop a new product in the existing market? Well, not P, but E is saying that right now people are not trying to try a new product, or there is a massive economic downturn in the market. Okay, so new products are not being welcome because market is not growing. Market is just stagnant. Okay, what you need to do then? What is the best strategy for you? Can you do the market development?
Yeah.
Can you go into the new market with existing product? No, because the same reasons. Because you are not welcome into new markets. There is a lot of protectionism based on the political news.
Okay.
Right? What are you left with then? Market penetration. Already economy is down. A lot of pressure on the demand supply. You have to fight, nothing else. The fact that you have too much cash maybe you can consider to acquire one or two of your competitors, or maybe someone in the logistic or supply chain. Because in the tough market, that's the best strategy, and especially when you have resource and capital left. Now tell me, can you devise any good strategy under Ansoff without using Pestle? Anything that you say about Ansoff Matrix or Ansoff, strategy based on Ansoff, if you are not using Pestle, your answer is not going to be holistic. It will be very biased and subjective. It will be mere an opinion. Pestle will give you the facts and figures to back up your argument and strategy. Make sense? Any doubt?
Yes, sir. So you recommend using Pestle with Ansoff?
Yes.
Okay.
It will give you a well-rounded and fact-based argument. Okay, so new share, let me see where to go. PPT is already done. This and
Sir, I had a doubt. Like in the exam, is it good to use a lot of models or should we rely on some of the models?
not too many models, but that's the art that we'll learn through a couple of case studies. So here is how we use it. I was just going to start a new model, but we can keep it for next sessions. How it should be done. You remember I was talking about SWOT earlier. So when I'm using SWOT, it doesn't mean that I have to draw everything. When you see that 1, 2, 3 model can be used, right? And you have a relevant point to use those, you don't have to draw all the time. You can just say that based on the SWOT analysis, the company has the strengths and the weakness, this. And based on this strength and weaknesses, company has a lot of capital which it can use to enter into a new market. So it can pursue the diversification strategy because it has capital and it also has the resources. Or you can also use the same argument to say that, okay, on the Ansoff Matrix, basically, we can go for the penetration strategy because market is not good, but company has a resource. So using the penetration strategy, company can target to acquire the distribution channel or logistic service provider so that we can push ourselves better in the existing market and we can fight better with the competitors. Two strategy. And when I have to use Pestle, I don't have to consciously even explain the examiner that I'm using Pestle, but you have to keep in mind that you're using Pestle. You don't have to forget these things because they will give you the data anyway. They would have given you the data if it is relevant, economical or political. You don't have to say that, okay, based on the Pestle model. You can just say that, okay, the political factors given in the scenario suggest that all the countries in the world are following the protectionism strategy and they are not very welcoming of the new companies coming into their market. Hence, it is not wise to use diversification. So companies should pursue penetration strategy. Okay. So in one paragraph or maybe 2 paragraphs, how many models we have used? SWOT, Ansoff, Pestle. It doesn't mean that you have to write a lot about the Pestle. It doesn't mean that you have to explain SWOT from start. Still, you can just in one sentence, you can continue to refer different models. You can tell examiners that, okay, look, I'm using this model. If it is only a 10 mark or 15 mark question, you can just quickly mention the model name and the conclusion based on that model. If it is 20 marks, 25 marks, maybe you can draw the picture and the diagram and all these things. So you have to just see how much mark is given, how much time you can afford, and based on that, keep all your tools and the approach handy. You should be able to draw the entire map and explain it if the mark is much. If it's not, just give the name of the Ansoff matrix, and based on this, market penetration is the best strategy because it blah blah. Does that give you the idea?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Because you need to just showcase that you are aware of this strategy and the model, and you are referring that and you are using that at the back of your mind when you're making the points without explaining the entire model. And that it will give you a very good impression that you're not just coming up with any random thoughts. You are using certain models before saying anything. You might have seen in the movie, right? Or in courtroom cases, how the lawyers argue. Do they tell you that do they give you the entire book, or do they refer everything? No, they'll just say, as per the section this, the person is not following the due process. Just giving that much reference in 4 or 5 words, tell the other person that yes, you are coming up with a very thorough process of thinking. It is not random. Okay, so very important and good model to cover today.
Answer one more thing.
Yeah, go on.
So the link you provided is not working on the WhatsApp group. Could you provide another link, please?
I have uploaded that on YouTube actually. Maybe it is not opening. Even earlier it happened once. I have to check again, and that's why it takes some time in the time. I have to upload it again probably. So
Yes,
it is
please
uploaded on the YouTube, but for some reason, and it is public. I checked it. It is public as well. So it's a little weird. It should open, but I don't know. Something wrong with this. So start revising all this model, because we're making a progress, but we should not forgetting the details of all of these models. And I would like to cover 1 or 2 more models, then jumping into the corporate governance. Corporate governance is quite important. There'll be a lot of questions on that. And subsequently, we'll start attempting some case studies, because whenever I'm going through the case studies, the key good cases, they require a lot of discussion on the models. Even acquisition, joint venture, what they are, merger and acquisitions, what are the different types of growing into a new market. All these models are required for for proper understanding. And hence, I'm just trying to cover a good few models before we jump into the case studies. But generally, if you look into the case study, they are still very much limited in terms of the data and the details that we are discussing. So try to kind of understand what we are talking about here as a model, because what we are talking is much more detailed, and because it is live examples as compared to what we see in the case studies. Case studies is still simpler as compared to how much data we are dealing with. But the approach should be kind of kept in mind while when attempting these questions. So we'll start doing that as well. Agency theory and all these things will fly through quite fast. So maybe once we'll start talking about the agency theory and the stakeholder mapping, even the BCG, you all are already good aware. I have a separate PPT for BCG Matrix as well. I will just fly through all the 20 pages fast, stakeholder mapping, so that we can revise and grasp the key concept. Corporate governance will take a lot of time, and then we'll start attempting more case studies. All right. Great, done. We can group together again on Monday. We can do that for 2 hours or maybe 3 hours on Monday. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Sorry, we'll do that on Sunday as well.
Okay, Sunday and Monday.
Yeah, I was thinking it is Saturday already. Okay, yeah, Sunday
Okay.
first we'll do. Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Take care.